AITA for unintentionally causing my coworker's marriage to implode. I'm 32M, trying to make sense of everything that's happened over the past couple of years and wondering if I unintentionally became the villain in someone's life. I'm not sure if I'm just overthinking it, but I could really use some outside perspectives. This all started a couple of years ago when I began working shifts with a coworker, Crystal, 33F. She's married and has a kid, and we got assigned to work together pretty consistently. In fact, for months, it was almost always just the two of us. To say we spent a lot of time together would be an understatement. At first, things were completely professional. We'd chat a little during our breaks, but nothing out of the ordinary. I'd listen to her talk about work, and we'd bond a bit over our shared responsibilities. But over time, Crystal began confiding in me about her personal life, specifically her marriage. Now, I know this sounds a little strange, but Crystal started venting to me about her problems with her husband. At first, it was about small things, misunderstandings here and there. But gradually, the venting became more frequent, more emotional. She'd talk about the resentment she was feeling toward her husband, how they kept fighting, how he wasn't helping enough with their kid. It felt like every day she was unloading a new set of grievances. I'll admit, I felt bad for her. I didn't know how to respond at first, so I stayed neutral. I'd listen, offer some basic advice, but I never took sides. I'd even defend her husband sometimes, especially when she seemed overly frustrated with him. I was just trying to be a good coworker and a decent human being by listening. I didn't want to make things worse by offering opinions that could escalate things. And to be clear, there was no flirting. I kept the boundaries strong and never texted her outside of work hours. This was just one-sided venting, nothing more. But then, one day, something happened that completely changed the dynamic. I had been dealing with my own personal problems at the time, specifically an abusive fiancé, now ex. I was pretty emotionally drained from the whole situation, and one day, when I was obviously stressed, Crystal asked me, "What do you do to relieve stress?" It was an innocent enough question, but I just snapped. I didn't feel like talking about it, but I blurted out something stupid. "Jerk off," I said, walking away. Not my finest moment. The thing is, I didn't think much of it at the time. It was just a quick, awkward response to get the conversation over with. But later that afternoon, Crystal came up to me again, asking why I was still upset. I gave her a vague answer, not wanting to go into detail, but she seemed genuinely concerned. And that's when things took a very strange turn. She said something like, "Well, why don't we have some fun tonight? You're stressed, and I'm stressed too." I was completely caught off guard. I froze. Was she suggesting what I thought she was suggesting? I couldn't believe it. In my mind, there was no way this was happening. This was a married woman with a kid. I respected her husband, and honestly, I had no interest in crossing any lines. So I immediately shut it down, firmly but kindly. I told her, no, I'm not interested. I figured that was the end of it. But it wasn't. Later that night, she sent me a text. It was a picture of herself in a see-through nightgown. I'm not going to lie, there was no mistaking what it was. Her private parts were clearly visible in the photo. The message said, "Maybe you need one," and asked if I was alone. I was in shock. I didn't know how to respond. My first thought was to just ignore it, but that didn't feel right. So I texted back, "Are you crazy?" And then I ignored her messages for the rest of the night. The next day, everything changed. Crystal's husband found out about the photo. Apparently, she had sent it as some kind of revenge because her husband had been texting his ex. According to Crystal, her husband's ex had sent him a photo, but not nearly as revealing as the one Crystal had sent me. Crystal's excuse? He did it first. I was stunned. The situation was spiraling out of control, and I felt like I had no idea how I had gotten involved in any of this. I never encouraged her, never flirted, and certainly didn't ask for any of it. Yet here we were. Now, here's where I feel like I may have done something wrong. Crystal had been dumping all her emotional baggage on me for months, and I never shut it down. Looking back, I wonder if I'd set a precedent by listening so intently to her. Maybe I had created some emotional intimacy that shouldn't have been there. Perhaps I was too much of a good listener without realizing it. But at the same time, I never once crossed any boundaries. I didn't flirt. I didn't encourage her. And when she made her move, I shut it down immediately. I never wanted anything to happen between us. Still, Crystal's marriage fell apart after that. Her husband barely speaks to me now, and the entire office is gossiping about the situation. Some coworkers say I was too friendly with her, but I don't think that's fair. I didn't do anything wrong, right? The worst part is, I can't shake the feeling that I might have unintentionally triggered a chain of events that led to her marriage falling apart. Crystal had vented to me about how her husband had cheated on her when she was pregnant, and she retaliated by texting her ex. It's like this toxic, endless cycle of revenge cheating. Maybe my listening to her and providing her with emotional support made her feel comfortable enough to act on her feelings, or maybe her husband got jealous and reached out to his ex as a result. I don't know for sure, but now I'm left wondering, did I destroy their marriage? Was I too naive to recognize when I should have shut down the emotional connection? Or did I just get caught up in a situation that I had no control over? Anyway, Reddit, AITA for unintentionally causing all this drama? Should I have done something differently?